Hello friends, welcome to the next episode of Building Mobile Applications with Ruby on Rails and Turbo Native. Previously we explored the Turbo Native iOS library, tried running an application using Xcode and tried creating a new application. Now we are going to have a look at another open source Turbo Native application, study the code, study the interactions before we proceed to building our own Turbo Native applications. So we're going to have a look at an application by Joe Mazzilotti called DailyLog. Here's the application. It has a working iOS version and a Rails version. We can actually try navigating to the production URL. Here's this application. We can sign in. Sorry, Joe, I will try to use a fake email for this educational purposes. Okay, so here I've logged in. I'm going to try adding an exercise for today. I can also change the date. I can navigate from one day to another, set different exercises that I did. You see the application is responsive, so it looks good on a big screen and on a small screen. We have our account settings where we can sign out or delete the account or change some settings. Okay, let's try running this application locally. So I'm going to clone Joe Mazzilotti daily log. I will already actually clone the application, and you can see the structure is the Rails app is not the core folder of the application. That's actually a separate folder for Rails, iOS, and Android, and a few main files. It is done so in educational purposes because it is much easier to commit the changes in the Rails repository and iOS repository together so that you see what has been changed both in Rails app and the iOS app to see the interconnections between the two. So this is a great way to learn, and I would say maybe to build the Rails app plus the native app to see what Git changes are interconnected in iOS and in the Rails app. So they're going to navigate to the application. I'm going to run the iOS application, so cd iOS, open dailylog.xcode project. It should open Xcode, and we are going to run this application on an iPhone. And in the meantime, I will also run the application locally. So I will run the local host. I will go back to the Rails folder, cd Rails, and bin/dev. Yeah, actually the application is not running here. Maybe I need to restart because the Rails server wasn't working. So I will run the app once again. You can easily rerun the application by clicking Command R. Okay, it's been built. The application is running. Let's see the Rails console. Is the application going to make any request to the Rails console? Yeah, it can actually take some time to launch. You see, it is. No, it says it's running, but I don't see anything. Let's try. Okay, yeah, it's loading. Okay, so we've launched the application. I've already previously logged in, so I can click to go to the next day or previous day. I can click on my profile. It will open in the modal. You see the interactions look quite different on mobile, and it is actually using some native behavior. So this is a native modal. This is a native save button. You see, we don't have the save button, the one that we see on the web, visible here. We have this button hidden and this button visible in the modal. So this is what Strada gives us, these native interactions. Also using Strada, we have these native buttons to the left and to the right, previous day, next day. You see here it's just HTML buttons. Here this is a native element of iOS. And this is also a native button in the header. And this is the page title. So it's quite a basic application, and we're going to try to build such an application a bit later. But first, let's have a look at how this application is set up. So I'm going to open it in VS Code. I'm going to open it in VS Code, and here we see the structure of the application. There is a core folder. We have iOS, Rails, and a few additional files. So going to the iOS app, we see the main file is scene delegate. It's the file that runs the app. We see that there are two package dependencies, Turbo running on Turbo Navigator branch. We did it in the previous episode when we were creating a new application. We ran the Turbo Navigator branch, and we have Strada installed. So we also have this interesting endpoint file. It says that in localhost we run localhost 3000. So here we are running localhost 3000, but in production we are running on this other URL. Then this endpoint file also says that we are going to use configuration slash ios.json for path configuration. Basically, if we open this configurations in the Rails app, we have this configurations controller, and the iOS app is trying to hit localhost 3000 slash configurations slash ios.json, and it receives this payload. And it knows that if we navigate to slash new, so slash new, it opens up in the modal. Let me try going to edit. I click on this one. Edit also opens up in the modal. And settings also opens up in the modal. If I remove settings here, and I will rerun the iOS app to reinitialize everything, definitely, to clear the cache and so on. So now clicking on the profile should open a new page. You see, it navigated to a new page instead of opening a modal. So this is a way our Rails app sends settings to the iOS app, and I think it's really, really cool. So we say that these three types of paths are opened up in the modal. Then let's keep looking. So we have Strada installed. We have this bridge component, and it says that we send three types of Strada native interactions to our application. We have button component. So the button component is this one that we can have a button in the top navbar. We send the form component. The form component works on hiding the native save button and displaying a save button on top of the model. And I think navigation component in this specific application is for having these two buttons to navigate from one day to another. So we have three components here, form, button, and navigation. And in our Rails app, if we go to JavaScript, controllers bridge, we have identical types of files here, button controller, form controller, and navigation controller. So we would need to have this bridge folder, and we would need these controllers in our Rails app to interact with these Swift components in our iOS app. And actually, interestingly, let's go open our application html.erb, and let's try displaying the request user agent equals request.user agent. I will now refresh the app. And you see, inside the user agent, we also send this payload of Turbo Native iOS bridge components, button, form, and navigation. So our mobile application knows that it is a mobile application, and it knows that it should interact with this button, form, and navigation components. Let's see what else we have. We have so the Strada part, the URLs, web view controller. I think it's just some boilerplate code that we need to make Strada work. Then scene delegate, the main file that runs the app. Here we just have this interesting line that is not default. So UI navigation bar configured with opaque background. Let's try removing it. I will rerun the application. And now I think you see, so I remove this opaque background, and now when we scroll up, you see the text scrolls behind the time and Wi-Fi symbol. So this doesn't really look nice in for this use case for me. So I'm going to add this line back. And this is more or less what the iOS app looks like. Not so much code really. Now I scroll up and you see it hides behind the native navbar. Okay, let's look at the Rails app. So we have these bridge components. Let's have a look how they are winded up. So let's have a look at the form, for example. Let's open the form for creating an exercise. I will go to exercise entries, new. Okay, we have the form and we have the Strada form width. So it is actually a custom element. We can open def Strada form width, and here we say that it's just a normal form that has the data controller Strada form. So it's using this data controller. When we submit this form, we are going to submit to Strada. We are hiding the submit button, and we are displaying the submit button here. We'll dive deeper into this later and we'll be building it on our own in a future episode. So then let's have a look at the shared header. Uh, Nothing really special here. Uh, there is some kind of header navigation. Let's have a look at it. We have this days/navigation, and here we have this bridge navigation, link to previous and link to next. So we are hiding these HTML links on mobile, and we are displaying native links on yeah, we're hiding the web links on mobile and displaying the native links on mobile. So this manages these links. What else can we look at? For example, this profile button. How can we find this edit user? No. Let's find this link in the navbar. Settings path. Mhm. But we see the school header is hidden in Turbo Native. So there is such a thing as Turbo Native hidden. Where is this defined? You see in tailwind config.js, there are a couple of variants defined, Turbo Native and non-Turbo Native. And this way we can hide something or show something only on Turbo Native or only not in Turbo Native. That's also a way to check if an application is a Turbo Native application and change something based on this. Anyway, let's find where we have this button defined for mobile. So we have this whole navigation header hidden on mobile, and instead we have this bridge navigation, and we have this icon. I can actually just type settings path and try to find it. So here is this bridge button. So it is a link to settings, bridge button, person.circle. We're using this person.circle icon. We position it on the left. Let's try positioning it on the right. I will now refresh the page. You see, now it is also present on the right. I think it is just cached on the left, but it is also present on the right. So we found this link to edit the user profile. Okay, this was, I think, a fine, quick overlook of this basic example of a real application that you can find on the App Store that uses Turbo Native. I encourage you to have a look at the source code on your own. You can maybe jump through the commits. You can try running it locally, playing around with it. It is a good application to learn from. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.